Hello future Brookies. I am so excited to talk to you guys and everyone who is applying, and I just wanted to give a few words of encouragement in terms of your application and what to expect. And you know, I'm sure you're feeling very nervous, and a lot of you are probably feeling a little underqualified, which is not true. You are very qualified. So I just wanted to offer my insight on my own personal journey being a Brookie and applying to be a Brookie, and a little bit of what my summer's been like and just what to expect. So I'm going to stand here awkwardly at 8 p.m. at work and talk to this camera, and there's absolutely, no one here, but that's okay, as long as they don't turn off the lights. So we'll see. But as you can see, I work at XPRIZE, and it's been amazing. It's the host company that I was matched up with, which I'll talk a little bit more about. But so I'm just going to talk about my journey and how I became a Brookie. So initially I was doing an internship down at NASA JSC last fall, and I had two mentors that meant the world to me, and I was very close with them, and they were Allie Llewellyn and Nick Skitland, and they knew Brooke herself really well. And so they sat me down and were like, hey, we think you would be great for this, we want you to apply. And I was like, I don't really know what it is, but like if you think, then sure, like I clearly trust you guys. So I'm gonna just, full send. So I started kind of gathering my materials, and then halfway through doing that I was like, I don't know, I feel like I don't really qualify or wouldn't fit in because I come from a business and politics background, and I know that a lot of rookies are engineers, which I am very like pro STEM, pro engineer, love them all, I'm around engineers always, but it was very quick for me to realize that the Brooke Owens Fellowship is so much more than just engineering and STEM. There's so many backgrounds I can't even begin to start on like how many majors we have, but if you're thinking like, oh, does my major fit in some way or fashion? Most likely, yes. And if you have additional questions about that, please talk to me, because I understand the logistics of that, and there was, limited positions if you are a different major, but I mean, you should still apply, obviously. So yeah, so I started gathering my materials, and I was looking at the prompts, and I was like, oh god, like I know I gotta do something unique. I would recommend not sitting here and talking to a camera like I'm doing with you right now, and just do one, what makes you comfortable, two, what shows us what you're like. I know in my year, my roommate Leah Nolan, she gave a tour of her fire department house. Don't know the technical word for that, but anyway, so that was something that was really special to her. My other really good friend, Michelle Lynn, she did a makeup tutorial, which like never would have thought of that. So if you can answer the prompt in a way that is like, so different, but so much you, I would go for that. I personally did a business plan on a Brooke Owens Fellowship spinoff where we would mentor younger generations of rookies, because I right now think that there's a gap between, STEM and engineers in college and high schoolers, and we're just not recruiting people in that middle area. So I was like giving this whole spiel on that and made a business plan because I love business plans, and it really kind of showed my business side, which is what I wanted to highlight. It's what makes me unique. Or a painting, or a dance, or make a video game. I don't know what you're good at. Or a website where you can incorporate like a couple of them. I don't know how extra you are, but I encourage you to be the most extra of all extras, because most Brookies are a high degree of extra. So yeah, so I answered, which prompts did I answer? I don't exactly remember, but I remember that one of them involved startups, which is my other passion, so I answered one about startups. I wrote a paper on how I got into space. I'm from a more non-traditional background. And then my last one was a video with Dallas, which you can look up, and it was us filming on the very last day of applications at Johnson Space Center, and we were kind of running around. It was like getting dark, and we were like, oh god, we gotta go edit this and like send it in. Oh god, like it's gotten close. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna gather all these materials, including answering those prompts, and then letters of rec. You're gonna wanna ask for those letters of rec as soon as possible. That was the hardest part for me, just because since I was doing it last second, A lot of my professors were out of town, or getting people to do that is sometimes just really difficult. Doesn't mean you don't have those connections, but people get really busy, and a lot of people ask for letters of rec. So if people say no or don't respond, that's not a reflection of you. Just find out who you can ask. Once you get those letters of recommendation and your multimedias, the next thing you're going to do is obviously apply. You're going to rank like what's most important to you, like location or like job culture. And I think like all of us ranked location at the bottom, because I mean the locations are pretty cool. Like you got LA, Colorado, DC. Like you can't really go wrong in a lot of these. So obviously like culture and like mission are top for a lot of us. Like that's very much a Brookie thing. I'm not saying like obviously like rank them how you want. That's not like a secret hack, but sorry, I just like hit the wall there. That was really Caucasian. So you're gonna do that, and then you're gonna sit and you're gonna wait. I've had a lot of people that are like, how long do you wait? What's it like? Are you sitting there in agony? Yes, you sit there in agony, but not for long. I think it took like a week or so. It wasn't long, but they go through that. They pick certain attributes. They comb through all the materials, and if you put your heart and soul into it, and you get to the next round, awesome. If you don't, that doesn't mean you did anything wrong. It's just every year it gets progressively more competitive, and you most likely, if you're not a senior, you have another year. Give it another shot, because there's a lot of us that took a couple years to get in. So again, that's not a reflection of you, but welcome to be a part of our groups and hang out with us and contact us. It's not like some like only Brookies. Like that's not how it is. So then you're gonna sit and you're gonna wait, and then eventually they'll say, hey, you've been given an interview. I think that's semifinals. They'll match you up with someone who knew Brooke personally. And my other piece of advice is know your time zones. It's my Achilles, time zones, and I got my time zones super wrong. I was interviewed by Beth Robinson, who is the old CFO of NASA. So first of all, I was already like panicking, because I was like, what an icon. Like she's so badass and professional and everything I want to be, and I gotta make sure I ace this because I want it so bad. And I'm one of those people that like, if I commit to something and I want it so bad, if I don't get it, I'm like devastated. So I was like, okay, I got this. I was gonna wake up, I was gonna like, do my like pre-interview routine, and it was gonna be great. Got my time zones wrong, so I thought it was gonna be at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. She called me at 8 a.m. while I was doing my makeup. And then something in me told her, hey, can I call you back? That was ballsy. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I was like, can I have like 5 minutes? Like, I'm sorry, like I got the time zone wrong, like give me 1 second. So she called me back in 5 minutes. And usually before interviews, like I'll blast like really hardcore music and like get myself super amped, but I didn't get to do that for this. So like I started off kind of rocky. Like when I was introducing myself, I was kind of stuttering, and then I was like, I paused and I was like, okay, normally I get to amp myself up. I'm sorry I didn't get to do that because I got the time zone wrong. And I was just really candid, and she was like, you're good, like you can restart. So I restarted, and the interview went really well. I think everyone who knew Brooke obviously is just really pumped to be talking to you, and if you are yourself, which I know is hard when you're really nervous, they'll see that. That's all they're looking for, is someone who's passionate and excited and just you. And at the end she was like, oh yeah, you kind of remind me of Brooke. And I like lost my, I just lost it. I was like, oh my god, thank you so much, what a good compliment. And it's funny because like none of us obviously knew Brooke, but like it feels like we're all best friends with Brooke. So when someone's like, oh, you're like Brooke, we're like, thank you so much. But yeah, so then after that you wait, and then the next stage you will get 1 to 4 hosts. I don't know if they're going to change that. That's how it was last year. And then out of those hosts, some they can decide what they want to do with you. You get to that next round. That's usually like obviously the toughest round to get into. Some may just like pick you, and they're just like, you're who we want. You want to work for us. I wasn't that lucky. It didn't happen to me. I know some Brookies that happened to, but and then others, they will set up 1 to 2 interviews and call you or Skype you. Do people still use Skype? What's the other alternative? Zoom? for, what's the like popular work one? I forgot the name of it.
2 hours later.
I don't know. You know what I'm talking about though. They will set up those interviews, most of them. And then that for us was around finals, so it was a little tricky, but I don't know if they're changing the timeline this year. Each one you'll interview and they'll either be super short or not. For me, they were just trying to like gauge my interests, what I wanted to work on. Some of them asked me like specifically like, what do you want to work on? Tell us. And I was like, I don't know. Like, aren't you, because I'm used to internships being like, this is what you're working on, this is your project, go. But when they were like, tell us what you're good at, what you want to work on, and you can do what you want, and I was like, oh. Then after that, you rank your hosts, they rank you. I had 4 hosts, so I ended up doing like 8 interviews, which was like, big oof. After that, you wait a hot minute. And this was a very interesting waiting period, because at the end, what they'll do is they will call you if you got it, and they will email you if not. And this is the best interview process I've ever had. Unfortunately, I didn't make it in the first time. I reached out to all the people who interviewed me, and I was like, thank you so much, like, you know, could you tell me, you know, how I can improve for next time? And they were like, no, you were great, we were just looking for someone with a little bit more of a technical background, which is fine, you know, like it is how it is. But I was absolutely devastated. I was crushed. I was like, you know, because I wanted it so bad, especially when you go through that whole stage. And so I want you to know that if you get to that stage, like, you are not alone. It sucks, but first of all, I'm sure you learned so much going through that process about what you can do. I'm sure your like interviewing skills are popping now. Hopefully you can apply next year. An email that night that was like, we're so sorry, but we will try our best to help you with your future endeavors. And so that was matching. For me, they reached out and they were like, what would you like to do? We want to help you. And no other internship or fellowship ever would do that. So I think that speaks volumes to the Brooke Owens Fellowship and mentors and founders in general about who they are and how much they want you to succeed. So about like 2 weeks, I think, went by. Cassie in particular, who I love, was doing her best to match me up with, you know, a different host company that might have not been able to be a host or something. Eventually she called me one day and she was like, I have great news. And I was like, what? And she was like, XPRIZE wants you. And I was like, oh my god. So I literally screamed and cried on the phone. I feel really bad for my neighbors, but I mean, we all get in different ways, but I definitely know how it feels like to not get in. So if that's you, like, I get it, and I am here to talk, obviously, because I'm sure it feels, you know, upsetting watching all of us be in this huge network of people and support and being like, I want to be part of that, and I want you to know that you are a part of that, whether or not you got into the fellowship. So I encourage you to reach out, because it was hard to cope with, like surprisingly very, very, very hard, just because like what the fellowship stands for, like it was so personal. So yeah, but anyway, so I got in, and then we, you know, went through the whole process of meeting each other, and it was wild, and the rest is history. And now I'm at XPRIZE, and which has been a blast and an absolute perfect fit for me. You know, it worked out very, very well. They're like having me start on the early stages of creating a prize and doing research on scoping a new space prize, which is super dope. So yeah, I mean, that was really long-winded, and if you're still listening to this, I applaud you, but just know that I support you, and if you want to run creative ideas by me, I will not be on the selection committee, so you are more than welcome to hop in my DMs on Twitter. And yeah, just know that whatever ends up happening, you are exceptional. We need you in the space community, we need you in the aviation community, and I'm sure you're badass on so many levels. Yeah. Goodbye.